a good candid shot. Like, I don't want to regulate what I look like. You know what I mean? Like, you see the real version. We always see ourselves through our lens.
Yeah. And that's what I try to get is like those candid moments, but you still like look good.
Yeah, no, that's appreciated. Holy shit.
Yeah, I won't get you if you're looking like super goofy.
I appreciate it. Oh, I do it to myself. I'll find if I've gotten to do maybe 2 like legit photo shoots because my friend's a stylist, so she wanted to do my hair or whatever, and then one just for fun. But the absolute worst photo, which was my favorite photo from the photo shoot for her, was they were trying to get us all to look like super tough and cool, and angry, or and just like I'm just not angry at all. And
you're very fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try.
I got that from you like the minute I met you. Like you're like as soon as you came over, you're like, oh hey, I'm Veronica. Oh hey, I'm Will. Thought we just started talking chat.
Yeah.
The
advertising zone. I'm ashamed of myself because I didn't get our t-shirts made, but it's happening. Well, your boxers and my t-shirt, I guess, or like shorts. Because I mean, your advertising zone is probably different.
I need the Veronica Grim boxers. Well, the older I've gotten, the more I realize that shit's just not the way it seems.
Oh yeah.
Like every single human being has like bad tendencies and good tendencies. Period. Like period. No one's the greatest, goodest person ever, and nobody's a piece of shit the way you think they are.
Absolutely.
There's good and bad qualities in all human beings, and that's
absolutely. And what even is good and bad?
Yeah, exactly. Because that could get misconstrued through opinion and perception.
Absolutely.
Like what that means.
Like was Thanos right?
Oh man. Okay, are we good?
Yeah,
are you good,
bro? For a minute. You can go whenever you get ready.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Sweet.
I'll jump in. I'm just gonna do a countdown and my little Tommy Talkie intro and go. Actually, Caden, since you're sitting here, do you want to do the 3, 2, 1? Like classic Caden?
Sure.
All right, dude.
All right. You ready, Veronica?
I am ready.
Well. All right. 3, 2, action.
You talking to me? I'm talking to you, and this is Talking to Me, Talking to You. And I am joined by the lovely Veronica Grim.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming out. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you
I'm
guys
excited
today.
To meet you. I mean, like I was saying before the podcast, the minute we met, it was like, bing, stars collided. We just started
instantaneous. Chia friends, if you will.
Chia. I haven't seen that commercial in fucking 10 years.
I love them. They have a lot of custom, or not custom chias, but like cool ones. I don't have any, but I've wanted to procure Golden Girls chia pets recently. There's a quality Grogu chia pet. Absolutely, I would, or a Blanche. I was always a Rose Blanche hybrid, I think.
Okay. Which one was that? I didn't watch much of the Golden Girls.
Blanche was the slutty one.
Ah, yes.
And Rose was the kind of ditzy, sweet, good-hearted one. But Rose always knew what was up at the end of the day. Like Rose would come up with these badass moments of clarity that just like shut everybody down. So
those are normally my favorite like characters in the end of like movies and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. The sneak attack, awesome stealth mode.
I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna talk to you about movies because I know you're kind of a little bit of a movie buff. So I got some things to talk about. But I want to talk to you first. First and foremost, I brought you out because you're a killer musician.
Thank you.
And I met you when I met you. It was at Crooner Circus, and it was funny because like I talked to you, and you have such like a sweet voice, right? You're like, oh hey, blah blah blah, and you're fun and like poppy, and. Then you went on stage and sung, and I literally got blown away because your voice is just so like powerful. I was like, and it was funny because my cousin was like, what did he say?
That's your future ex.
Yeah, that's your future. Like, don't fall in love with. I'm like, dude, just shh.
I love it.
But it was.
That's a compliment.
No, it was super, well because like the voice, I was blown away by it. You have a great singing voice. It's like I said, very powerful.
I grew up listening to everything, but I think the things that taught me to sing were a combination of like show tunes, Frank Sinatra, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin.
That
We listened to everything. We listened to Zeppelin. We listened to the Carpenters. I mean, you name it.
Really,
we were.
bulky
We were.
Though, you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I would just listen, especially to Whitney Houston, just over and over and over, and I just love. Oh my God! I wanted to dance with somebody who loved me. I really did.
Yeah, it was great.
But I'd just be in my headphones and my Walkman, just belting it out. And thank God for my parents because they didn't mind listening to the same tapes over and over and listen to me sing to the same tapes over and over.
I used to be in my basement jamming out and like trying to sing and stuff, and my mom would literally call me and be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up! I can hear you through the vent system."
I'm sure everyone but my parents was saying that.
That's cool. I was gonna ask you where your inspirations come from. So, wow, that lines right up. Like that's super cool. And because I kind of consider you like when I heard your songs, I've only seen you play solo. You play with a band.
Yes.
So I see. Do you go by Veronica Grim? Does the band go just by Veronica Grim, or do you have a secondary name for that?
At this point, I always have in the past.
Okay.
Every other band. Okay, so band names are so tough anyway because finding one that isn't just like truly lame is difficult.
Sure.
I was in a band called Switchblade Syndicate, which I loved, and I loved that name.
I like the name.
yeah. I thought it was a pretty cool name.
Yeah,
and John, who plays with me now, was in Switchblade Syndicate with me.
Okay.
He's our bass player.
Okay.
And then when I moved to California and got my band together out there, we went by Veronica Grim and the Heavy Hearts, which my friend Caesar actually came up with. I love you, Caesar. He's back in California now. But I didn't feel right moving on with that name with anybody else but those guys.
Okay.
It was such a specific group.
It's like personal kind of.
Yeah,
like
without Caesar and Danny and Honey, like that was that band. And
so
that's
then you decided to just go with.
Just Veronica. I'm tired of changing the merch.
Yeah, it makes
if I'm
sense.
honest with you,
For
like I don't want to do it anymore.
100%. I mean,
I just want to have one merch catalog that just continues.
It makes 100%.
Honestly,
sense.
it's pure laziness.
And so,
not business acumen at all.
With the band, because I looked up like on Spotify to like find some music to listen to, because like I said, I've only seen you play live like solo. That was that period of the band.
Yeah.
But I noticed it was released in 2017. So do you have any music that you're like working on?
Yes, coming in? That's actually super exciting for me to talk about because the stars aligned for me to come out here and talk to you guys today because we're going to studio in about 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm really excited. It was supposed to be last summer, and I'm glad that this was the most extensive damage that was done to me, but we had COVID concerns from somebody involved in the project. So we just said, no, let's just stay home and just wait and reschedule it. And in the interim, Daniel, who was my drummer in, the Wayback Machine, left town as well. So we are now playing, I'm so lucky to be playing with Nate Hickey, who plays guitar and sings in 500 Miles of Memphis.
Okay. Yeah.
But he is a sneaky super Amadeus on the drums that I didn't know. So he showed up and immediately it was like that. He stepped into songs that were already in existence and turned them into something that was freshly his and that really fit with the vibe that we were going with too.
Okay, yeah.
So it was amazing the way he could put fingerprints on something and serve the song and still make it his own, but still leave it what we had constructed before. And now we are going forward with a couple of new things. So it's pretty cool. So, the universe surprises me in all kinds of ways.
No,
but
like you said, the stars align.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So now since I've mentioned the other two guys, I got to say hi, Mike Bustamante, who is my incredible guitar shredder. Hi, Mike Bustamante. But anyway, we're going to record at Mike Reeder's in Covington on Main Street, the Village Theater.
Okay.
So where he does his web series Fret Buzz, and now they're starting to host.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the music for Mayfield, like Tornado
Isn't that associated
Benefit.
with like Mike's music?
It is. It's Mike's music.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And the coolest old theater, and I'm so excited.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
That's a fun opportunity.
It's such a unique studio, and it's there. The reason we're there is because of Mike and Elton.
Yeah.
Because they're friends and they're such cool personalities and know what they're doing and I think it's always better, in my opinion, just to work with someone who cares a little bit more about what you're doing specifically.
Absolutely.
And it's not just like, okay, a name
It's
on a
just a
sheet
job,
coming in for a session. Like to them, it's personal because they had me on their show Fret Buzz, and I played a song called "Thank You" as my like featured song on that episode. Okay. And Elton immediately was like, "I'm recording that song."
It sounded great, like that show and that segment when you played. And because I've seen that a few times, that show itself a few times. I didn't know that was actually associated with all that stuff.
Yeah,
so that's cool. They got a really cool little circle going on over there.
It's unbelievable, and it's a lot like what Noah does with the Crooner Circus, where we met. Is just such great. There's such a wealth of talent and this like amazing underground root work of people who just are incredible at what they do, and you cross paths at random intervals, and it's just cool. Events like that really connect people.
For
That's,
sure,
you know,
yeah.
I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for Crooner Circus and meeting Noah, and I met Noah through 500. And it's just, there's so many incredible resources to create around here that it's just like a privilege to be in the right place at the right time.
Sure, yeah. It's like a network friendship. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's cool to like, and like my biggest philosophy in that is showing up. Like just
Yeah.
show up to that stuff. And,
100%.
And that's where you'll meet people. That's where you'll get these like opportunities to work with fun people or just be their friends. Like that's the biggest thing like I've taken from it is like, you know, in life just being open to be like friendly to people opens up that side of things. You
It
know?
does.
Being yourself and shit like that.
Absolutely. I think people can tell a phony. Most
Yeah.
people can.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us probably like that energy around, you know, whether you like me or you don't like me. I think you'd probably prefer it that I'm honest with you.
For sure.
And just
100%.
don't jerk your chain. Like, and I don't ever try to pull the wool over people's eyes. And I really love just the authenticity of the people that I know. And people like you, people like Noah, people like Mike. And, you know, it's awesome. It's boundless. And another is Morella Raleigh. I wouldn't even be playing music without her in the Southgate house and, you know, all the help and boosts she's given me. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kindness pays dividends.
Well,
you
and
know?
that kind of goes straight, like, right into, like, conversations we've had, like, I guess, like, 2 different times now about, like, and if you don't want to, like, talk about it. Like,
No, please.
But, like, with the, you know, like, we talked on Crooner Circus the second time we had met. You came back. We bullshitted some more. That's where we kind of booked you.
very excited.
But we talked about, you know, just, like, sobriety and being present and, like, willing to be in those situations. And so, like, I don't know, kind of tell me, like, of your journey of, like, kind of coming to that, like, epiphany.
It's a good question. And I'm happy to talk about it because I some of the coolest moments for me in my life have been as a result of having conversations like this and talking to other people on their journeys. But, you know, I think when you grow up, I was somebody who loved a tough guy. I loved Die Hard. I loved John McClane. I loved Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I love, like, the tough guys. I love action. And I think, you know, I associated toughness with drinking and smoking and wild times and punk rock, you know, and
Yeah.
I genuinely love all that stuff. But the image is all bullshit.
Yeah.
The most rebellious thing that you can do is be empathetic in a world like this. But with that in mind, I never shied away from taking a drink. I was around music and sneaking out to go see shows and, you know, and it wasn't because my parents didn't, you know, teach me better. My mother and my father always taught me about balance and taught me about respecting yourself and not, you know, whatever you want to do is fine. Just don't hurt yourself or anybody else.
For sure,
Be
yeah.
honest with us. That's all I ever asked for.
Treat other people the way you want to be treated and treat yourself the same.
Absolutely. And, you know, so it started there. And then as I got into playing music more and more and more, you know, I'd be playing 3-hour gigs, acoustic, you know, up to 3 times a week at certain points in my life. And, you know, people can be very kind and want to offer you beverages and want to bring you treats. And, you know, that's great. But when you don't, it might just be a steady stream for 3 hours, but it's still 3 hours. And like,
Yeah.
what if I didn't eat that day? You know, it's not good for your health. It's not good for your mind. It's
Yeah.
not good for your body. And, you know, over time, all of those things are affected.
Builds up.
You know, and I had a DUI when I was 25.
Okay.
And it happened because I wasn't paying attention as I was driving home. Reached to like answer a text and just like swerved and hit a parked car. Thank the universe
was
that
parked,
nobody was
yeah,
hurt.
yeah.
That it was just me being an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an immediate wake up call. I wish I could tell you that was the moment that I got sober, but it wasn't.
Of course,
I
yeah.
mean, I acted without reckless abandon. I didn't drink and drive anymore after that.
Yeah.
However, I did still indulge in drinking. And it got to the point where I wasn't just a party time activity. It was, you know, after work, I was coming home and I think I made the joke. I was like, Don Draper, pour me a drink. Like it was always a bourbon. And then it was just steadily again. It wasn't necessarily doing shot.
Yeah.
But why I had to stop and ask myself why I wanted to blur all that time out. Like, what was I trying to
Yeah.
escape from? Didn't make me feel good. I felt like a dried out old dumpster mummy every morning when I woke up, and I looked twice my age. And you know, it's just you're getting fat, you're getting tired, you're killing your body. It's not good for anybody, and you don't play as well for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't. I can't
absolutely.
speak for everyone, but I didn't. But the real truth of the matter is the moment that I knew it was time to quit was I'd given up drinking alcohol for Lent. I'm
Okay.
myself, I'm not a Roman Catholic, but My family was, and
Yeah.
it was kind of an honor to my grandmother
Okay,
on my
that's
dad's
really
side.
cool, yeah.
So we like to still give up something for Lent. So I'd given up drinking. So I was already, lightweight at that period. We were going to see the Hillbilly Casino at the Southgate House, my boyfriend at the time and myself. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm sitting there watching Empire painting my nails, having a pregame. We rode his motorcycle down to the show, and I proceeded to keep on drinking, but I hadn't had lunch, hadn't done this, and I just it was an embarrassment. I was so drunk. But that wasn't the worst bit. It was we were driving, he was riding home, and I'm supposed to be holding on to the back. Well, you almost pass out on the bike.
Oh, you
Almost fell off the
almost
back
fell
of
off
the
the
bike.
back of the bike.
I mean, he's an amazing rider, so it didn't occur.
Gotcha, yeah.
But that's one of those things that easily could have happened.
Yeah.
And in the morning, he's like, you'll never ride on the back of that bike after having a drink again. I was like, you'll never have to deal with that because I'm never drinking again.
Well, that's a very prevalent story among musicians. I mean, I can name like Mitch Lulker. Like, there's a lot of stories that are like that. So yeah, but like you were saying, in a musical entertainment environment, I mean that is the prevalent thing. It seems like to most people is to show up, kind of get a little drinking, and like that's the part of the fun. But like you said, what takes away from that is you kind of forget all of those good moments, or at least you're like kind of like rewarded with a bad time the next morning, per se.
I mean, I agree. I mean, even if you were, I did not understand how to achieve balance and moderate at that time,
Sure.
but that was the last time I ever had a drink, and I'm almost 5 years sober. So,
That's good.
yeah, and I feel just worlds better. I'm more confident. I feel healthier. Just everything about it is good. But yeah, you're right. I mean, in and of the fact that you're consciously taking in alcohol, you got to drive home like you're more or less at work.
Yeah.
When you're playing music.
Yeah.
It's still, that's already an issue. But even if you're really careful about that and you're not the driver, like, I want to have fun as long as I can.
For sure.
I want to be here at
Same.
my peak for as long as I can be.
Absolutely.
I want to just punch time in the face, and I want to get every drop out of this life. And there's too much cool shit to do.
Absolutely. And I've had another conversation like on this podcast with a good friend of mine, Austin. He had a very similar awakening. It was a little bit more of a rough one. He ended up he got into some fights with some cops because it was outside of his house, using the bathroom outside like you would, whatever.
Right.
And they drove by at the time, and he couldn't say that this was his house and he what he was doing, and so they and then he just started but that was his wake-up call because he had to look at the people that were looking at him and what he was like portraying for himself when he knew that he wasn't that person, but that's what was being showcased per se.
Absolutely.
And but that was and so I love like stories like that because it really shows the growth in like human beings. Like we were talking about before the podcast, like people are good and bad, period. Like
Absolutely.
People have great qualities and horrible qualities.
Yep.
But I love redemption stories, and I also love like things that can like moments where you can recognize things.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it takes the hardest moments in your life to recognize what's really important. So thank you for like telling that and like being open about it.
Thank you for
very
asking.
Cool. Yeah. To go on a little bit of a lighter subject, you kind of mentioned it, and I noticed because the holiday season just passed. I noticed you're pretty festive.
Oh, I am a festive woman, yeah.
And
Like an elf.
I got this debate that I always say. You said Die Hard.
Yes.
So I'm assuming it's one of your favorite movies. I am one of the few people I feel like that consider that a Christmas
It
movie.
is 100% a Christmas movie. I won't say fight me because I don't want to fight you. But John McClane would. No, 100%. It puts me in the right mood for Christmas. It's about family values. It's about protecting what you love.
Yeah.
It's about the free market.
You're getting thrown in a situation you have nothing to do with per se.
This is a Christmas miracle of a film, and it is not Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off of Nakatomi Plaza.
Well, see, I love that you have that huge opinion back. I agree with you. Honestly, I fucking forgot to. I was gonna watch it on Christmas.
Oh yeah.
And I totally scatterbrain.
It's never too late. Make yourself a cocoa.
Yeah, I could definitely I'll just put this Christmas sweater back on and then just watch it. I'll just do that in the middle of July and just call it Christmas.
I'll come over and watch it with you. We can do it.
We'll have a Die Hard watch. Did you see the new one? There's a new one.
The latest one where like his son goes to Russia.
I think. I don't know. I didn't see anything about it.
I actually amazingly have a funny story about that. It's brief. It's the Reader's Digest version. My friend Ben and I watched the whole thing in Russian because we were stoned and didn't realize that wasn't an artistic choice until the very end. I don't know. Yeah, his cookies were good.
That's funny you said that. I have a weird thing about foreign films. I don't watch like films in different languages. Unless there's like I emotionally can't connect to it because I don't understand it. I'm willing to learn a new language if I've never tried. Yeah. I don't know if my brain can capacitate that. But if I could, then I wouldn't mind it. But I just have like a weird emotional disconnect with like films in foreign languages. Sure. Not saying that they're not great films.
Yeah.
And well done, but I just have this weird like.
Your construct of emotion and reality is based in English.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But speaking upon films, I also noticed that I know that you're a Marvel fan.
I'm a huge Marvel fan.
But I wasn't sure if are you a Star Wars fan as well?
Hugely so.
Okay, so we can deep.
Oh yeah, we can deep dive. So, I have a Rebel Alliance symbol on my shoulder.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I need to go get me some tattoos.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Kevin Brandenburg.
I will say I'm probably about to hit some spoilers, but you've seen the new Spider-Man, right?
I have 3 times.
How good? 3 times?
3 times.
You're kicking my ass in the family.
I had different lovely company each time, so it was
okay.
It was awesome. It was a bonus because I got to experience it with their eyes every time.
So with that, man, like. 2008 when when the Marvel Cinematic Universe was created. It's funny, like it's like almost like a birthday celebration for me because Iron Man would come out May 3rd, and that's my birthday. Every single year it would come out May 3rd, so I would go and see it for my birthday.
That's awesome.
So I started with the whole Iron Man saga, and then like I just slowly kind of got into like more like the middle towards the end. Like I didn't watch the Thor movie and like the Captain America's I kind of skipped over, but once it hit like the Civil War and hit all those, I was like, I gotta go back and figure all this out.
Yeah.
For them specifically to create a 10-year long like saga to get to Tony Stark saying I'm Iron Man.
Exactly.
And snapping his fucking finger. I cried.
I was in Las Vegas when that came out.
Did you watch it in Vegas?
I watched it in Vegas. My friends Jimmy and Lola are the most badass people on earth. Okay. And they are my ride or dies. But they moved back to... Well, he's from California. They chose to relocate to Vegas from here a few years ago. So I'm lucky enough to have like a bitchin' destination pad every time because I get my best friends in a cool city. But they set it up to take me to go see Avengers Endgame. Well, first they took me for purple French toast, ube French toast. And I was like, Thanos toast. Oh my God. At this place called Truffles and Bacon, which is amazing. And then we went to Red Rocks and watched a movie. We wept. It was packed. Every single seat was taken. I'm sure you got like the cool like crowd reactions. Oh yeah, because it was it was the first or second weekend, and everybody was freaking out. First weekend.
That's what sucked about watching Spider-Man because we went to me and Caden went and watched it. It was a mostly empty theater. I was the only one reacting to all of the little things, and I'm just like, Caden, this fucking sucks because everyone probably hates me right now.
Oh yeah,
I'm loving it. And they're just like, what's this?
Oh, the first night I was like, everything.
It gets you jitty, and like a lot like. What's weird is like there's a lot of like it's getting into the multiverse kind of thing. So there's like I try to find holes and shit.
Oh yeah.
But then people like go no, let me correct you. This is why they did that, and they're just so smart about setting things up like taking hints for storytelling and shit. For me personally.
Oh, absolutely.
As a cinema guy.
To think that through because I have this fantasy that someday I'll actually write a proper novel instead of just songs. Because in school I was an English major, so I've been given the tools. I should be able to do this job. Totally do that. I just like that level of forethought and interweaving of different elements and planning. Like that's what always bogs me down is like I want to have it all figured out and have all these amazing twists, but I think in the end of the game I'm gonna have to just improvise and just see where it goes or I'll never start. But
at least at first,
it's just that's the only time in history anybody's ever pulled off that mammoth a scale of cinema,
Yeah.
creating that real universe.
For sure.
I mean,
Star Wars is, I guess,
Yeah.
the closest, but they
Yeah.
took such big breaks in between everything.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I guess it's Star Wars was original too. You know, it wasn't
Yeah.
adapted from source material. You know,
true,
so.
very true.
But you're right. It's 100%.
There is
true.
more per se holes in that because of that too, because
Yeah.
there's no referencing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
in the comic book world, I mean, like they just made so much shit up.
Oh,
that
well, yeah.
You could play with anything.
I mean, the multiverse is the ultimate get out of jail free card.
For
Now we can
real.
have all our favorite people back, and they're just variants. So you know,
That's what's
my
cool.
dad gets really frustrated with that. He hates that. He's like, it's cheat. I'm
well,
like, I know,
but
it
that's
is.
where they went though.
But Loki though.
And well, yeah. Well, in the comic books, that's the way that they all went. Like you look at the very early examples of Iron Man and the Avengers and stuff, and that's what it led to. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
exactly where it all is leading, and that's
Well, I love what they did with Spider-Man. Like, and I'm sorry if you haven't seen it. Like,
Yeah.
get your
I gave
ass
you
to a
spoilers,
theater.
man.
Like, you had time.
I gave,
But
I gave him spoiler warning.
just seeing when Andrew Garfield catches her and corrects
Okay.
that worst moment in his whole life, and the way he just conveys
I
that with a look.
fucking had goosebumps.
Yeah.
I'm so serious.
I was reeling from that moment for a little while,
Because
all the way
like the
home.
Tobey Maguire ones are my Spider-Man per se.
they
Like,
were
I
mine,
was a
too.
kid when that came out, basically.
Yep.
But the Andrew Garfield one, comparable. Like okay, so story wise, the first one like had my heart, right?
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
like cinema wise and like shot wise and FX wise, all that like the Amazing Spider-Man's killed it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they're the only one that the suit actually like is like moving
Yeah,
in the wind while he's swinging.
and you
stuff.
really felt like it was so lifelike,
like
and it was
you're
cool to
with-
see that
yeah.
rendition at that
Very
time.
cool.
Plus Emma Stone. I mean,
Yeah.
Enough
I
said,
love
but-
Emma Stone. But
I
yeah.
agree with you though. The Tobey Maguire ones were the ones that I grew up with. I graduated high school in 2002.
Okay.
And I think that was the year that the first one came out.
I think so. Yeah.
so
it
this
was.
is lined up with like the most formative period in my life, like going from high school to college and experiencing heartbreak, and like Spider-Man was very emo.
I'll give my two things that I didn't like about the Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
And I got corrected on one of them.
Okay.
So-
my boyfriend would be helpful with this.
Yeah.
He's an aficionado.
Which, by the way, what was it? What's his name?
Robbie.
He helps with the Super Saiyan show.
He
correct?
does.
I know all about that. show.
There's brother creatives.
Yeah. Oh, they're brothers.
No, but I
Okay.
mean, in the sense
creative.
of
Okay.
we're all
Yeah,
brothers in
yeah,
creative.
For sure. Yeah. So, but my two things are, first off, this is the one that I'll do the one that I got corrected on first.
Okay.
So when Ned opens the portals up,
Mm-hmm.
just puts the ring on and does it when Doctor Strange had to take all this time to
true.
do that. Like I was like, yeah, that's bullshit. But then I had somebody explain to me, he's like, dude, but check this out. In the comic books, Ned is Hobgoblin.
Oh, I couldn't verify. Is that real? Is that true?
Yeah, that's what I,
didn't
was
realize
told.
that.
That's what I was told. I don't know. I might be fucking wrong, but that's what I was told. And so that's where he has that power. That's
Interesting.
his thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was blown away. Or it might be another.
I
villain.
like to think that Ned's
gonna
just
be
a
a-
magical motherfucker, and he's
gonna
just
be a villain.
harnessing his natural abilities.
But their
I
point
believe in
was
that.
he was going to be a villain.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't
And they even
remember
foreshadowed
Spider-Man.
that, yeah.
He doesn't remember Spider-Man
Yeah.
anymore. He has no emotional connection. But like every other Spider-Man movie, Peter Parker has an emotional connection to him that makes him not want to harm him.
Absolutely.
Just like with the first ones with
Franco.
Doc Ock
Yeah.
and Franco and then what's it?
And Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh my
He had a
God.
connection to all those people. That's who he didn't want to
Yeah.
actually harm them. Same.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I was like, oh shit, you're probably right. That makes sense.
I love it. If that happens to be true, which now I hope it is, that whole cuteness where they do, I promise I won't turn into a villain and kill
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And this is speculation. This is not spoilers. This is just speculation.
Yeah, we're
so-
just theorizing now, but I like that.
The thing I did, but this is the one I didn't like, and this was kind of like the only moment I was like, oh, come on, was when they did reveal Andrew Garfield, which was perfect. I thought
Yeah.
the way he just came in and you thought that it was
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, and then he
it
just
was
peeks
Tom
through.
Holland, and he's like, you guys, and then but what I didn't like is that they did Tobey Maguire right after with the same exact thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they needed to move it along, but
could
yeah.
have like swung in and like saved someone. Like
Oh, I got you.
what I
Had a
mean?
cooler-
Like,
Yeah.
just like or just give it like some time before he comes in and then make it another surprise.
and I see what you're saying about the pacing of it because
Yeah.
maybe it's not as
It was super
impactful.
quick,
But
and he was the one I was waiting for.
I know. They kind of make you like, will he or won't he? But it's kind of cool because I didn't watch Into the Spider-Verse for a really long time, like not by choice. I just zoned out and didn't catch it.
Which that's a great movie.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of the battle grizzled, of 40 miles of hard road, emotional journey, aged Spider-Man. And I kind of like that he entered more quietly because he's at this age, he's been through all that.
True, yeah.
So he would kind of
Experienced
just
Spider-Man.
be like, oh shit, a portal. All right, must be Thursday. And walk through. Like, I don't know. Just to me, I kind of like that he was the quiet one. He was still funny,
totally.
but he had kind of got to that point where he was, I am just a guy.
Yeah. Well, they're being super meta with it too. They're making all the jokes and the memes, relevant and shit.
Yeah.
I love all that. That's why I like cinema in general. And
Same.
I'm gonna show you some stuff after our podcast, like I told you. But I mean, it is fun. Like that's the whole just being able to experience like watching that shit. Like I feel like it's really helped me as a creative just to see like how big of a scale that this can be brought to. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And. Yeah, absolutely. When you think about the journey too, that's my favorite part, is having grown up with so many of these characters and watching their character arcs. And
that's why you care.
Like
you're invested.
Like Martin Scorsese is mad because it's like throwaway cinema, but the truth of the matter is,
he's a roller coaster.
It's just one of those. I don't see the harm in communicating in a way that people love and understand and can relate to and can see a vision, hopefully, of their better selves or their more creative selves or their more intuitive, intelligent, emotional selves.
It's simply
Fuck it.
complex.
If it comes in a cape, then it does. But like if it's effective and it's fun and we love it and it's given me something to aspire to, then where's the harm?
Absolutely. And I understood where he was coming from with that because I'm a huge
I am too. I love Martin Scorsese's
fan.
movies.
I take a lot of hints from him, and we make movies like that.
Oh yeah.
That's our game. We can't
Obsessed.
make superhero movies.
Obsessed.
But I understand where he's coming from because I think his quote was, "It's like a roller coaster. You're here for the ride. You're not really here to care about like how they built the roller coaster. You know what I mean?"
I think the best moments are when you get both, though, and that's what Spider-Man did to me. I don't know.
And that's what I felt too. Because even though, like you said, they're bringing in the multiverse, so there's excuses for everything that you can kind of make up. Yeah. They still kind of feed you something that it's simply complex. Like it's
absolutely
simply complex, and
absolutely.
so it makes it you can digest it, but also go, oh shit, there's lining all this stuff up.
Well, yeah, I mean, and my music would be in a lot of trouble if that weren't true because it's not math rock, it's not an opus, it's not La Boheme. It's very accessible. It's very much rooted in pop music and country music and rock music and roots music, and that's how I conceptualize what's cool about playing. So I would be lost if simple weren't also could have some depth.
Absolutely. And going back to your music, I kind of like to almost to finish up. I got a quote I wanted to read that you describe your music as.
Oh God.
It's the perfect soundtrack to a romantic midnight truck stop, renditions with Satan.
Yes.
I love that. Where did that kind of come from? That's a really good description, I think. Especially because you got like a southern alternative soulful like vibe in your music. I think
it's all come by osmosis.
Kind of.
I love her. I've been the beneficiary of internalizing a lot of great stuff in my life. So whatever comes out, I owe to all of the great ones before. Alkaline Trio has a great line in one of their songs. It goes like, all my favorite singers have stolen all of my best lines. And
I steal them.
I still do. There's a lot of image that I like to play with, but the truth of the matter is, like, I'm someone from Ohio who lived in New Orleans, who vacationed in Tennessee, who had Southern music around me from the start, so it's always been part of my personality. I've been a weird, spooky, goth weirdo my whole life long,
But yeah, they're festive and happy.
But I'm so happy. Yeah. I'm the happiest emo in the world.
Very contradictory.
It is
technically,
but I love all the darkness. I love horror movies. I love grisly, horrible shit. I grew up reading the Anne Rice novels. I got to meet her when I was like 12 at a book signing. My mom got me started on those books. My mom had me watching Rocky Horror when I was like teeny tiny.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, it's always been part of my lexicon, like dark imagery and funny imagery, and I don't take myself too seriously, I guess is the long and short of it. So the way I view my music, there are Southern elements, there's elements of darkness, there are elements of love, there are elements of absolute pop and absolute kitsch, and a lot more depth, hopefully, that if you really listen and stop to take the time, can be uncovered. So I think of the mood. I think it's hard to describe music in terms of a genre because you're always wrong. You always see yourself the way you want to be and not as who you are in life, not just in music. But in my mind, my mood, my vibe, if you had to be like, that Veronica, she makes me feel like I'm headed towards something really cool but kind of dangerous.
Well, and I think what you said, like all, like saying, and like you just described it perfectly. Like all those things are you. So like by portraying all those things at once, I mean, there's really no confusion. Like, it's straightforward.
I can't say I'm rock music as well as I can tell you what that feels like.
Yeah,
you know,
it makes sense though. That's super cool. Well, Veronica, thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much
for doing this.
It was a delight. It's my honor. So.
Yeah, thank you very much. Guys, this has been Talking Me Talking You. Thanks for watching.